my friends stand by me only if I'm right. I come out of triple darkness just to see the light. If I say it once, I guarantee I say it twice. If they want me, I ain't going out without a fight. In my dreams, I'm a killer, but for God, man. Try to play it cool, but it's getting hard, man. Rolling with the real and deaf to all the frauds, man. Not too many of me, yeah, it's kinda hard, man. In my room, sitting in my room. Know they waiting on me and I'm coming soon. Never been a sellout, never been a coon. Y'all be on the camera acting, I'ma show them how I true it.
If you guys don't realize this by now, but y'all are my role models.
Oh, James.
Peer role model.
Thank you, bro.
No, seriously, y'all,
Nah.
you
Yes, sir.
you all have been role models to me throughout that. That's the beauty of our brotherhood and friendship too, because there's something profound.
You like my eating habits, bro?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Remember that it was a big controversy. I think it was like the mid '80s or whatever when you know everybody talk about Draymond Green now, right? And his antics on the NBA basketball court with his I guess they call it behavior or whatever. And I'm I got mixed feelings about it. Sometimes when people try to say he has a mental problem, some people say ain't nothing wrong with Draymond. Some part of me wonders, can he control himself in certain intense emotional moments? But I'm just alluding, that didn't have anything to do. I'm talking about Barkley. He's the new Barkley to me. Charles Barkley used to do that stuff, right? There's randomly pushing somebody or getting into stuff on the court, semi little bully. But remember that time, I think he spit on somebody or something, and he said, I'm not a role model. Y'all remember that?
Draymond said that?
Barkley was like,
Right.
Oh, Charles.
Like, why did you do that?
Right,
You a
And Nike
role
made a
model.
commercial.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not a role model. And Nike ended up making a commercial about it. And his point is that just because I'm an athlete doesn't mean I'm a role model that you should expect your children to emulate me or for me to uphold some standard. But in terms of that, role models, how important are they? And what type of people did you want your children to be around that will ultimately be role models to them? You know what I'm saying? And so, because it's not like you can teach your children about role models, but you want role models in their life. So what inputs did y'all make to make sure that there were some individuals around them that you would consider to be role models? Or what are some things you tried to make sure you did to be a role model to your children and other family members?
I was about to say, I tried to be the best and most important role model to them. But I would find myself being more so as to what not to, model model yourself after and pointing that out. You know what I mean? But if anybody, I would definitely first say the minister, of course, because that's my role model and the best one that's on the planet right now. And so I would more so do more. I found myself being more of saying what to kind of stay from, if you will, of role models, or if I saw something a celebrity person or figure out there on television that's that I didn't that didn't necessarily jive with my values and this that, and the third. Though hey son, I know that's kind of popular and a lot of people gravitating toward that person or the behavior, but I just point out the things that doesn't line up, that doesn't align with the values that I've tried to instill with you and the foundation I've given you. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
I think for me, I like to try to point out just regular people versus celebrities, because if you're dealing with a celebrity, sometimes, it might be something that's so far-fetched and you may not be able to obtain that. But if you just dealing with a regular person on a day-to-day basis that you at school with, that show some type of leadership skills and stuff like that, then I say, I like that kid, and then I'll say, and then I'll, tell him why I like him, and maybe you could pay attention to him and watch how he move and stuff like that. And so those are the type of things that I, wanted to show my son as far as leadership. Just pointing out regular people.
Good point. Yeah, like you say, just you're not necessarily, like you said, regular, but yeah, somebody that's seemingly more attainable and coached by. Yeah, I like that. I like that approach. So
think about the words role model, role, and model. Like, what is a role?
Mm.
A role
Breaking it down.
is,
He breaking it down.
it's a part you play.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a play, it's a job, it's a position you're in. It's you're playing. It's a role. It's not you. It's a role, right?
Yeah, responsibility is
I
tied
play
to
the
it.
role of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just a parent. I play that role.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Model, example, exemplar. So when we say a role model for children, I like what Barkley said in this sense, because no one person is a role model for everything for my child, or can be. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it happens to be someone that's so comprehensively beautiful, great. Like they're great in business, they're a great human, they do all of these different things. So the point is, to y'all's point, I'm devaluing the importance of people, because and I'm like this now. I don't care if LeBron walked right across us right now, other than me saying, "Oh wow, that's LeBron. How you doing?" That's it.
Right.
I'm not starstruck.
Right.
I'm not lolling over him. I'm not, or her, or whoever that is. So I don't want my child to see me in that position in relationship to another human being. Do you understand that I'm so, like, it ain't Jesus, right? So my point is, so I'm letting them, yeah, okay, wow, that's LeBron. Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy. And I'm gonna say that when I see the person y'all talking about. Man, that ice cream truck dude, man, it's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's just as important.
Yeah. Just as valuable.
And that man come in every day and do his job like LeBron do on that court every day. And as a matter of fact, every now and then, he give a couple of us a popsicle when we ask him for free from the ice cream truck. I'm talking real life in my neighborhood in J-Town.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what it
And
started.
that man was a nice gentleman. He was a role model. He didn't have to deal with us raggedy knuckleheads chasing the ice cream truck all up down through Jefferson Town, asking him for a free twin pot. but he indulged us.
Right.
And sometimes he gave us one. And sometimes he said, I can't do it. But he always had a welcome word and smile for us. He's a role model. So to y'all's point, we could teach our kids to just embrace good people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what a role model is. It's a good person. He might be the ice cream truck man. He might be your coach. He might be the pastor. And he might not be perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it obviously starts at home with mother and father, right? And then your community, your neighborhood, then the bigger, broader community, right? And expands outward from that. And then like what you talked about, what you see on television. And we so caught up with the sports and entertainment thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we all love it too, right? But using that analogy, sometimes man, that guy can dunk good, he can do this, but no, look at the role that he's playing on his team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the role we can play in life. Who running the point? This is what you do good and how it comes together as a team. Again, within the family and the greater neighborhood and greater community. And like you say, man, when you talk about good people, you establishing those values and what is good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, don't do with that when he does that, but when he does this, listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
Or respect her when she do that, but when she on this, so teaching them discernment as well and what to look for, and they can learn from anybody, And again, teaching them to be strong enough to be that role model as well when it's necessary.
Right, I like
Teaching
that.
them to be that leader, right? So even when you're 14, it's a 10-year-old looking up to you,
Yeah, you said that. You were saying that in the last segment when we was talking about the sexual thing. Be the guy that's not gonna be a part of the group think with females,
Right?
even though
right.
she disrespecting herself.
it
Let me
was
wrap
funny.
the role model thing real quick. What I mean by that, so teach your kid what role model means.
Yeah,
It
right.
doesn't mean I want you to be like him. I want you to look at the goodness of what he does with this thing right here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make you him.
right.
Right.
So
I remember when I went to school. I went to fashion college to be a fashion designer, and at that time, my sewing teacher, Miss Peru, right? and my
Talk about
grandmother,
it.
right, was those role models that taught me how to sew,
Yeah.
right? So the thing was, when I went to school, I was so out of the loop. When I went to school and went to fashion college, and we in there, we talking, and they talking about Lord Taylor and Chanel and all. Listen, I have no idea what they talking about.
Mhm.
I don't know them people. I don't know what they look like. I know what Miss Peru and my grandma look like. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they were, you don't know who Chanel is, and trying to shame me. But I didn't take no offense because, you know, I'm connecting to that day-to-day person that I can go and ask a question. I can't ask Chanel a question because I don't know the designer that does this. I don't know Gucci. I don't know. I might like those name brands, but I don't know those people, so I can't connect with them. We had the internet then, right?
Right.
And so, but I can tomorrow morning. I can ask Miss Faru how you put the zipper on, right? I can ask my grandma how you hem, and so those are the type of people that you want to connect and you want to be able to show your child so they can relate and to help them grow at the same time to be a role model for someone else, you know? So that's what
That right there was Charles Barkley's point. That was his whole point. Like, y'all looking at me as a role model, and he obviously knows he is.
right.
But his whole premise and his whole point was, don't look at me as your role model. You don't even know me. It's the people around you that need to be your role models. And so not only was that message to the kids that I'm not your role model, the message was also to the adults to say, you guys need to be better role models for the young people around you so that they don't look at me. They look at you.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like what you
Because
did.
I'm here just to play basketball.
Exactly.
Right.
He looking at
Yeah.
Miss
Peru.
Peru and Grandma. You know what I mean?
She taught me how to sew too, bro.
She taught you how to sew too. Yeah, you know.
Shout out.
And so that's the whole premise. You know, it's so funny that we talking about this subject because I was watching Secrets to Success podcast the other day, and Eric Thomas and CJ were on there, and this Draymond came up. And you know, they have a large affiliation with Michigan State, so they personally know Draymond. And what was interesting about what they were saying was, if you know Draymond personally, he is absolutely nothing like what you see on the court.
Wow.
But he's playing that role for Golden State. He's playing that role for Golden State. And without the Draymond role, people look at Golden State as a bunch of soft dudes. You know what I mean?
He's today's Rodman.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, basically.
And
Yeah,
he cussing
because
teammates out too.
because that's the role he plays
Yeah.
for that team.
Right,
you know, and so they were making a distinction like, hey, man, you know, to know Draymond is to know he's absolutely nothing like that. So when people like, he got a problem, you know what I mean? He don't have a character problem. He might have an issue on the floor, but that's the role he's playing. And so we all hope that we are our children's, and we know we are, our children's first role model, all right? But we are not the only and the sole role model.
Right.
That's exactly why we talk about reigniting, reestablishing the village. Because when you have that village in place, you understand that it's a bunch of people that your kids can look to as role models in different areas of their life. You might have an uncle that's a really good businessman, or aunt that's a really good business person, or somebody that's super in fitness and health, and somebody who is, you know, always embracing the family and taking the family in. You know, there's different aspects. And so we're trying to piece together all of these good people of good character. And the idea being is, if I establish a good enough character base for my son or daughter, whoever, that they will then choose the proper role models based on the stuff that I've instilled in them.
I like how you put that, man. I think that's where it started, because when I was sitting there thinking about it, I was like, I needed a role model growing up. I needed role models.
We always needed them.
No, I'm gonna just stay in my walk real quick. I don't know. Bear with me on this. I don't know if my sons needed a role model because they had me.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm not trying to be arrogant.
No, I mean, no, I understand.
And I'm not trying to say
It's almost in comparison to what
to those that
what
might
you
not have the
experienced.
patience to hear me break this down.
All right, go
Now
ahead.
let-
Break it down.
Don't click off, right?
What I mean is, at a minimum, they didn't need one as bad as I did. And what I mean by that is, if we say that children learn more from what they see us do than from what they see us say or what they hear us say,
More is court than taught.
right? And a role model, and I'm with this child every day, and they see me, and I'm guiding and I'm developing and parenting from my side as the father. Mom's doing her thing. Their lens, I'm helping to shape their lens on life. So the people that I encounter, Uncle John, Uncle Waki, Uncle Talik, Uncle James at the cookout, and that they see me interacting with, right? The people who they are, is almost like they don't need a role model because they got a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. They're not starting from nothing. They have a baseline. They need people to complement what I have built and developed them into.
It's levels to this thing, right?
Yeah. So, but in the sense of a single parent that I was, a child, or a child that don't have a father guiding them, their need for a role model is a whole nother thing than what we talking about. We want around our kids when you in there with them. Because we just want somebody to be like, yeah, man, bear witness of what I said with them in another way that I don't even might not know about. You just bear witness because that's why we're in a circle.
Right.
But that child that don't have a father, he needs someone to show him the way. And that's who we really talking about right here, because when your daddy at home, if he's a good father, he's showing you the way. But you can see other ways, but it's not like you don't see a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing that we talking about this from one side, because the point has to be made. Everybody's a role model, but not everybody's a good role model.
That's a fact.
It's some role models out here, and that's the problem.
That's what I spoke to
It's
earlier.
bad role models that's leading folk the wrong way, and they're attaching themselves to poor and bad behavior because that's who they looking at. And so what we talking about is getting good role models in their presence.
Or who you choose
know what I
to
mean?
deal with.
And who you choose. And also, you can have someone, you can use a bad role model out when we do it all the time as an example of what not to be.
Absolutely.
That's what I spoke to earlier. Yeah.
We using the bad role models as an example of what not to be. So that's all we're trying to do here, and make sure that we got putting good folks in place, you know, around our kids.
Can I tell a story?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So last week, this is a fresh story in my house. You know,
Who's the culprit? No.
Nah, so I got a text message other night about 10:30. I was already knocked out, but you know, you wake up. I looked at my phone, which I shouldn't have did, and it was a picture of my sons in the family group chat. It was a picture of somebody that got arrested in our county for drugs, right?
Like they mug shot.
Yeah, just a mug
right.
shot.
Okay.
And I read the name.
We all get those.
I read the name real quick, and I was just like, I don't know. Like, wow, it was a lot of drugs. So I was like, man, that ain't too far from, like, you know, our neighborhood, you know.
And that TK.
Yeah, so I was like,
know his real name.
nah, facts.
Right.
That's a fact. So then Jeremiah was at work, and he was working late. He called me. He was like, I said, you know, your sons call you. You answering the phone at 10 o'clock. I mean,
whatever.
What's up, man? Man, you ain't say nothing about such and such. That's blank and blank from the barber shop. What?
Yeah.
Not him. A parent that I've been parenting with
Wow.
since Jeremiah was 9. They've been on the son's been on the team. Owns businesses in the community. Major drug busts. Heroin, AK-47s, armor, all of this. And after everything shaked, I said, man, I was sitting the next couple of days. We had our 2 days of, can you believe that? Who would have known? Blah, 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 right? I said, you know what, man? I'm messed up, man. Because somebody came in the house and said, free such and such. You know how people be like, man, free such and such, man.
Right.
I said, man, you know what? I'm actually messed up today, man. They said, well, I said, man, notwithstanding these charges, dude was actually a good dude, man. Like, the community's going to miss somebody. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, and he wasn't like the most upstanding dude like you talking about, but he was a cool dude, had some past, but also sold in the young people around him, giving apprenticeships, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, his fam, they were like, I just can't, I'm thinking about the sons, which I know someone that's a teammate of the son, goes to school with him. And me and the person was like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to tell my son. Because that's, I said, man, you got to tell him. You got to tell him. You got to tell him and make him feel that to know that could be him.
Right.
That's a possibility that people that you see, not that it could be him, that people that you see and respect can fall like this. You got to tell him the truth. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, you right. And I was at it for a second. I was like, I see what you're saying. Because they real close and it's fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But no. And I hope y'all, that's the story I want to say is he was a role model in his way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now he's gone and really, man, he our age and ain't going to never see the light of day again if he get convicted.
Bro, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had that very experience. And the thing, I always saw it as a great opportunity to talk to my sons.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, I wanted to tell them one of my favorite things. Ain't nobody all everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Ain't nobody all anything.
Yeah.
And everything. Ain't nobody all bad. Ain't nobody all good.
Yeah.
And here's a great example of someone who we saw that was this amazing, person that we all knew. But he has something else going on.
Yeah.
And so we got to be mindful that we don't let that kind of stuff creep up in us.
Yeah.
I've talked about it. We talked about it before, that every person has 3 aspects of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
The public life, the private life, and their secret life. This was a secret part of his life that we were not privy to.
Right.
Y'all were not privy to.
Right.
And it's one thing if your secret life, you want to get tied up and put a ball in your mouth and crawl around on the floor. You know what I mean? And want somebody to spank you. That's one thing if that's your secret life.
I'm trying to figure out how bad my secret life is.
Hey, we didn't see that one coming.
Right. It's one thing if that's your secret life. That's between you and whoever else. That's your secret life. But if your secret life involves the potential for you to be removed away from your family for the rest of your life and their life, that's the kind of stuff we got to make sure never happens.
You can't compromise that type.
Hey, listen.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this young
But-
son, I'm
but-
talking about real quick, a rising senior, all I could think about was on the night, overnight, when they picked his father up, and he saw him if he woke up, that he might not never hug him again.
And to reflect on
Boy, that's
that,
sad. Make me want to cry.
and to reflect on that, that's when the village need to step in.
Yeah.
That's when the village need to step in, and then
Get their hands around that boy.
Yeah, and love on him, because that right there is a pivotal moment in his life.
It
Because if he's displaying this wisdom and got these apprenticeships around young people in the community that want to learn that skill, I'm pretty sure he's sowing good seed in his son. Besides that private life, you know, but and that right there could crush your son, and somebody need to jump in.
It is, man.
But the other thing when Joaquin said, you know, nobody is all bad at one thing or all good in one thing. I always like to say I get a little bit from this person, and then I create what I want to be, the best of, and pull a little from everybody. So when you say, you know, oh, that was my role model, you know, that's such a big emphasis, but at the same time, I pull the good from this person, and it's some good, you know, that you can pull from a lot of people.
It is.
I was just about to say, if you guys don't realize this by now, but y'all are my role models.
Oh, James,
peer role model.
Thank you, bro.
No, seriously, y'all, you all have been role models to me throughout that. That's the beauty of our brotherhood and friendship too, because there's something profound.
You like my eating habits, bro?
I didn't say that.
Hey, but that's the point. That's the point.
Know, it's something profound from each of you that I've drawn from.
Yeah.
And share it with my boys and whatnot, you know, too, with regards to how to deal and handle them, man. So
hey, brag on the brotherhood.
If y'all didn't know,
appreciate it, brother.
Likewise.
Thank you.
What I hear everybody talking, we're talking about certain characteristics, right? And discernment, right? So, hey, this guy's phenomenal at this. He's awesome at this. So I want to, but then you see him do something else. This lady's great at this, but then you see her do something else. So we have to teach our children what is good character, first and foremost, right? And how to see,
recognize,
and how to say, like you say, one person ain't the end all be all. The preacher is phenomenal. Listen to the word, but he's still just a man. So if you see him at the liquor store on Tuesday, don't be upset. You know, don't be too shook by that.
Right,
you understand what I'm saying?
Now,
But you know what? But you know what?
That's so funny because the thing is, look at a flower, right? I've been taking my herb teacher. Yeah, I'm a botanist now. But look,
see, hey.
But then check this out. If you look at a flower, some of these flowers, the most beautiful flowers, they can have a fruit, leaves, or whatever. It's a certain part of that flower, if you eat it, you're going to die.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't eat the right part, you can eat the leaf, but you can't eat the root, or you can eat the root, but you can't eat this part,
you can't
or
eat
the
seed,
fruit, or that berry on that one.
Yeah.
That's, if God don't put so many examples in front of us to get us out of our foolishness, we so stupid.
Yeah,
I'm just saying because it's the same thing.
There's arsenic in the seed of an apple. There's arsenic.
And there's some poison in this. Somebody might see that poison. But this is what we do, to your point about the last verse. Man, pastor was at the liquor store. I ain't listening to nothing he said last week.
Right.
I ain't going to church no more.
That man was teaching right out the Bible of what God said.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing he said had nothing to do with the liquor store.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the secret life, right?
It was something you was about to say, though.
Yeah.
The Boys to Men podcast, or B2M podcast, is about 5 guys who've been friends for over 40 years. Between the 5 of us, we've been married for over 100 combined years. Between the 5 of us, we have 13 children, 12 sons. We discuss in our podcast about our journeys into fatherhood and how we raised our sons to be fine young men. From 6-figure earners at LinkedIn to a professional Call of Duty player, college educated entrepreneurs, that's who we are. Our podcast is not a how to do it podcast. It is a podcast about how we did it. Come check us out.
But that's you get rid of your naivety. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say part of that too, man, is we have to watch the judgmental component of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when we become judgmental, that is what causes us to lose good role models and lose good lessons from good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, a preacher, he could be on point in all aspects. Hey, bro, you don't throw out everything he said because you saw him at the liquor store.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the whole
now,
point.
if he tell you now if he preach and tell you go get 2 drinks a day, then that you make a connection between that and the liquor store.
Right, exactly. And so that's what but because we as individuals become judgmental, it allows us not to get lessons from people that we should. Why is it that, when you're teaching your kids good character, you want them to have the same level of respect for LeBron, the ice cream man, as we do for the housekeeper that cleans our room at the hotel, or the maid that cleans the building, at school. It's important to have the same level of respect. I'll say this. One of the favorite things I learned, one of the life lessons I learned from my years, and this is about respect and role modeling. But in my 10 years of working at the Jefferson Hotel in Richmond, where I encountered a tremendous amount of celebrities and a tremendous amount of regular folks, the life lesson I took away from that experience was you treat regular people like superstars and treat superstars like regular people. And when you do that, you're removing the judgment, you building a connection, and you understand. Exactly. I remember the story, John, you tell a story about when you was at the game and everybody wanted autographs from dude, and he was signing autographs, and then the one autograph he ain't signed. Yeah. Now, dude just going in on him.
Right. He a butthole. He's
25 autographs on the way to the locker room. And one dude, he didn't. He just had to cut it off. You fucking suck.
He's worthless.
You're my hero. You the best. You the best. You the best.
And then 2 seconds later, he sucked. Right. Exactly. And so one of the most, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this, one of the most disappointing things in life for you, if you don't keep this role modeling thing in perspective, is you can meet your hero and they let you down.
Yes.
You meet your hero and they let you down. I heard Joakim Noah tell a story about getting to the NBA and playing against Kevin Garnett for the first time. And he like, KG was my my favorite player. I modeled my game after this dude. And he said he get to the free throw line and he look at KG, he like, man, you my favorite player. And KG was like, F you, mother. He said it just crushed him at first. Yeah. But he was like, oh, okay, this I see what this is. You know what I mean? And so he went on to make that adjustment. But like, just think about what that could do to the person that's not properly prepared for a letdown like that.
Hey, I want you to clarify being judgmental, right? Versus we have to make judgment decisions daily. You're making a judgment decision to drink or drive or to not drink or drive. You know what I mean? We're making a judgment decision to hang with this fella that's about to go rob the store. Is that not a judgment decision?
No, I mean judgmental. When I talk about judgmental, what I'm talking about is someone who looks at someone and discovers a character flaw.
Like with the preacher thing.
And then they completely
we are making decisions based on judging the scenario, and then we make a decision based upon
it's the difference between having good judgment and using good judgment and being judgmental.
Let's talk about it.
Having good judgment is those individual things that we can discern. You know what I mean? Should I, drink these 5 beers and drive the car? That's poor judgment. But character, something, I don't want to paint that person's complete character with the character flaw that I just saw. I can just attach that to that particular behavior.
But aren't you making a judgment decision?
I'm making a judgment about him. I'm making a judgment about him. But see, when I'm judgmental, now I say, he ain't no good. I got no use for him now.
Joaquin, I got Joaquin. I got it. Let me just say it's a language thing.
Yeah.
Judgment is a noun. It's a thing. An idea. It's an idea.
Help us out, English scholar. We need some help.
Judgmental, I'm describing you as a person.
Right. Condescending, basically.
You see, if I'm judgmental, I'm describing people. I'm not just naming a thing or an idea.
Not talking about this
exercising an idea. Yeah, I'm making, like to Joaquin's point, this is what it is. The larger point is all of us, the big problem in this world is that we think we're better than other people.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's an
the
arrogance.
Judgment comes with condescension.
It's an arrogance The problem is not that I see a behavior that I judge to be wrong based on my understanding of my values and God's law. The problem is because of that, I think I'm better than you.
Right.
Because I recognize that you did something contrary to God's law, I think I'm better than you because of that. But I'm not.
Or you think
So that's
they're
the
not.
point about why I keep talking about kings and heroes
and the
your hero let
quadrants
you
that I
down.
talked about. When I
Yeah.
talked about the 4 quadrants on the other show,
Yeah.
and I talked about the way you get to arrogance is when you think highly of yourself and less of others.
Yeah.
That's the arrogance. So
what's
that's when you
judgmental. Because if
become
I'm not
judgmental.
judgmental when you do that, I'm like, oh, he's a fellow human struggling or traveling like me. I have some things in my life like that too that I'm working on that people might
Correct.
look at like
Correct.
that.
So,
Let
so
me-
You see what I'm
so-
saying?
but-
Let me-
but real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah.
real quick, is it if you say, well, he's not? Are you saying that without saying it, right? Well, he can't tell me nothing as far as the preacher or whatever. He can't tell me nothing. He's not good enough to be in that position or that role and title. Is that the same as saying
That's judgmental.
I'm better?
That's-
No, but I'm saying, is that the same as saying I'm better than you? That's not the same as saying I'm better
Yes,
than
it
you. Right?
is.
Is it?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
'cause you say, I
because
would
that
never
ain't
do
your job to determine whether he should be in that position. Because he's in that position because God put him there for whatever reason. And not only that, the truth that he represented has nothing to do with the thing you're pointing out about.
And let me say
Right.
this. Here's
Correct,
what
yeah.
it looks like. Here's
For
what
sure.
it looks like in practical terms. Said person does said thing.
What is it?
Said
Said.
person.
Said,
Anybody.
okay.
Someone
He
does
said, "Who was
something.
Saeed?"
You said person. I was like, who the heck is
Who
said
said?
person?
Someone does something.
I got you.
This is how you know which one you are. When they do something, you look at them and say, look at that. He had everybody fooled. I knew it. Or you can say, wow, he did that? That's not the guy I knew. That's what it looks like in practical terms.
You got some relatives now.
Yeah. You know, in
We got some
practical terms,
relatives.
this is how you know which one of those people you are. Are you being judgmental or are you just judging the act? You know, because when I look at him, I'm like, man, that surprises me. That's not the guy I knew. You know, or you're like, man, he had everybody fooled. I knew he had Joker.
Now, what I
that
want to
Joker was
point out to
full
what
of it.
James' point though, I don't want people to live thinking that Nuevo think if a pastor doing anything, he just keep doing it. You good? I'm not saying that. because even within that, I can say you can make a personal choice to say I choose to not go worship there because I don't want my spiritual leader to engage in such and be delivering the word. But I'm still not judging him.
Right.
Do you
Correct.
understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like,
Man,
like
you know-
I ain't put it this way. I'm not ahead of you in God's line as far as I know.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
But
No matter
I
what you did, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I ain't trying to say, oh, I must be ahead of him. I'm getting in first.
see, but I just think I don't think people realize that they're taking a position of being I'm better than I think I'm better than you when they take that position or attitude that what can he tell me or being or how is
You know
he
why? Because
and
they don't have a self-reflection mechanism. Because
Well,
that's the first thing that should stop you. The whole thing is don't put before you say something about somebody, cast the mote out of the beam out of his eye, get the mote out of your eye.
Don't it say that?
It
He
made
is
it-
who without
Stop talking
sin
shit.
cast the first stone. Ain't that what they say? Now y'all know that ain't my thing.
I'm about to
Because
say,
He quote everything but the
and look,
Bible.
In fact,
Joker got all kinds of other
and so,
quotes.
but the other thing I was gonna reflect is when he said that.
I know that part.
He said we all fall short of the glory.
That's a fact.
So when you say we all, everybody,
Yeah.
including you. Right.
including
Including
Yeah.
yourself. You that
so
recognize.
he said this before any of us was born.
Facts.
So we all got some stuff,
Amen.
Yeah.
right? We all got some stuff. And some of our sins is not higher or better than the other. They all.
Hey, look, they asked him, they said, when the disciples asked him, all that stuff. You know what we did. Look at all we done did for you. When were you naked and we clothed you not? When were you hungry? He said, unless you haven't done it for the least of these, you didn't do it for me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Most profound principle.
The person,
Yeah.
we
move
stand on
from
pastors. I'm
upward.
gonna say the imam, the pastor, the
Rabbi,
synagogue leader, the
the
rabbi,
whatever,
whoever,
Right.
whoever it is, right? That includes them. They're included in the least of these if they not living right.
Hey, all right, I got a question. Okay, how do you teach? It's easy, I think, for the most part, to teach our fellas to not to follow the super trifling child or adult, and you got the extremes. But what about their buddy? And using the example, you said that the guy that got busted, right? The child knew, probably a great leader, good in the community, mentor the kids, all these wonderful characteristics, right? But how do you teach your children if they develop this love for them? The next thing you know, they found out about the seedy side, the shady. How do you give them confidence enough to be like, yo, whoa, I love you, ace, boom, this, that, the other, but now I got to peel away from you. You understand what I'm saying? Rather than saying, hey, I'm loyal to this dude.
All right.
We done came up from kindergarten to
But
little
before
league,
we answer
and
that,
now,
you answer that. Because I know you had that.
yeah.
So you answer that question.
Hey, now I'm asking y'all, and I come back to me.
Okay.
I'm
He like, I gotta
I'm
think
word
about
it
it.
properly.
Man,
I gotta word it.
Mine
any
ain't
of
gonna
these
be no
examples?
long, ain't no need, because
Yeah.
mine gonna be real short.
Yeah.
But
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just your feelings not important right now. I mean, I'm just. It's not about feelings. It's about.
But bro, think about how many times we keep telling our kid, man,
Let me
you
say
need to
this.
stay away from
Let me
so
say
and so.
this.
Stay away
Yeah.
from so and so.
It's the scariest thing a parent can experience because it's the least control you have.
Yeah.
You have no control over how it comes out. You don't know. And I've been through it on the side of my mama trying to break me. We talked about the person. I've been through it. And I know she is at her wit's end, like, I don't know why. And it wasn't until
What was it? Why didn't we leave that
I don't
dude
know
alone?
why you won't leave him alone. I don't know why. I don't know. It was because he was willing to pursue the edge in a way that was a thrill. And there was nobody in my life doing that.
But the question is, why did you need that? Why was that
Because
attractive
I didn't
to
have
you?
a role model in my life giving me other ways to exercise that energy.
Yeah, showing you something different. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Giving you an
good. That's so
alternative.
good
That's a good way,
because in my past those type of same type of things. It's that thrill, that excitement, that rush.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What is
You should have played football.
What is it?
Dopamine.
Dopamine, right? That's what they
Yeah,
call it?
yeah,
Dopamine,
yeah.
right? And
That
so at
high.
the time, of course, I didn't know that was going on with me, but at the same time, those the type of things. And back to whoever had your ear has your destiny. And if you around this person so much, and they're not a part of your life right now because they wiped out, like, you either gonna have to continue or create that environment to keep you engaged, unless you around somebody that can demonstrate positive thoughts, positive patterns. Somebody come in and interrupt and take you, like, hey, nah, this is what you need. And they feed me more positive than negative. That's what I needed. Cause I'm gonna do it somewhere. I got the energy. And somebody needs to disrupt my energy. And when you disrupt
refocus it.
and refocus
Channel it in the
that's
right
right. And challenge it. And that's what needs to happen with that young man, that young woman.
Brother,
you need to be able
Channel
to
it. I didn't mean challenge it though, but
That
channel it in the
disrupt
right
word
direction.
is
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
just used.
Yeah,
We use
that's
that
what
in
you're
education
gonna
a lot.
have to do.
Disrupted. But man, y'all made me think about in this person we talking about you on it, bro. And I see where you at because this you, right?
Yeah.
This is what happened to you. You felt this, right?
Right.
To the core.
Because when I said it was the thrill, that triggered you, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look,
It went all down up in
That's what we
here.
not talking about with our black boys, though, man.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
so powerful. That little boy that climbed up, I was telling you, we so powerful, man.
Yeah.
And the minister used to say, look at how he walked, the black man. He show you he know he's supposed to exercise some power.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Pimping, he know it, like, right? But this is what I said about that person. This is the other side of it. he needed me as much as I needed the thrill. It was something he needed from me.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know it then. I can talk to you about what I think it is now. And what I think it is now was I was the balance to his thrill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
We definitely with that.
Yeah.
I
You
was
feed
the
one another.
Let me do good sometime because he can do good in school. Let me do that right let me get in these circles sometime. But then I needed the edge.
Yeah.
And that's why we in these
Counterbalance.
intricate, lethal relationships with our brothers.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so now I owe you the allegiance.
Yeah.
Because we got a reciprocal need. Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
And so now I'm thinking that when this person asks me, man, what happened? Man, why?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say, man, I can't. The thrill no more. I recognize from my mama, and in my heart, I gotta go somewhere else. But I should have told him, come on.
Yeah, right.
Instead of ignoring them and creating beef with them,
Yeah.
which I did, or allow beef to fester,
Yeah.
that would have never happened. When
Right.
we had a small disagreement, I used that as an opportunity, an excuse to keep myself away from the thrill.
Yeah.
And on top of that, man,
RIP, man.
RIP for sure. We love him dearly.
I'm up here listening to you, man,
Yep.
and you know, it's some parents, man. Y'all got children that can pull you out of that environment you in and do some real positive things, but you need to be able to redirect them, because I'm telling you, I could have been a multimillionaire long time ago because of all this creativity in me. But when nobody's paying attention, nobody's moving, nobody's showing me, nobody introducing me, nobody putting these, you know, hey, you know what? You need to meet this person. I need to show you, and you need to connect with this person, because I see what's going on right now. And when you can do these things and be able to go in there and snatch that young child, not physically, but pull them out that environment, man. Because I think about when I love to dance. I still love to dance to this day. And I just think about, I had no idea that I was considered a choreographer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one who coming up with the dance moves, the routine, and I'm listening, and these songs make me move and go to the rhythm and the beat. But at the time, nobody say, "Oh man, you a nice choreographer," right?
Right.
You know, I'm leading dances in high school because we had the shout, Student Hope Outcry, United Together. Like I'm doing I'm doing these things, and I'm leading, and my buddies that we hanging around with, we leading these dance moves. Why ain't somebody was like, yo, man, you'll be amazing at this, and they just, hey, you know, they using us or they showing us right here in this particular environment. But if you could have took some of these talents and skills and used it, then no telling what would have came out.
Somebody told you you could have been like Gregory Hines.
Yeah.
He wanted
And
to be
showed
like,
you Gregory Hines and all that. You'd have been.
No, he wanted to be like Leroy from Fame.
Not me.
Oh, who wanted to be like Leroy?
Nah, you tell him.
You gonna stop talking about me and my
Everybody
friends.
except though, ain't none of us think we could whoop Leroy like that.
Hey man,
Leroy didn't look
gotta
like
Google Leroy from
Leroy
Fame.
didn't look like nobody.
Even though
You was
soft
just
touch.
Leave Leroy alone, yeah. hey man,
Y'all
but
All right, man, your turn to answer.
Leroy from Fame.
As parents, first of all, don't be afraid to put. I've been saying discernment throughout the whole show. That happens as grown men, as kids, right? If I cannot give my child something, I'm gonna try to put the person in his life that can give him something. Don't be afraid to do that. When you use the sewing analogy,
Yes, sir.
the
Definitely.
dancing analogy,
Yes, sir.
like with Andre danced like you. I couldn't teach him all
He
of
do?
that. So
No,
I tried. He lands like Chris Breezy.
Nah, for sure.
So don't be afraid to do that. And then like what you were saying, I hear survivor's remorse. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel guilty about doing what you got to do to save yourself. Because if, like the whole airplane analogy, hey, when that oxygen is lost, you got to put it on yourself, right, before the next person. And when you put it on yourself, then you can assist them.
But that's
That's
the remorse, because I ain't hand him his mask.
Yeah, but
I just put mine on.
He can't feel guilty about that because that's what the only thing he was equipped to do at the time.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why we having a discussion now.
Yeah, that's right.
And so for me, first thing I was talking about filling up love tanks in relationships with your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your siblings, your friends, right? That's just the way it worked, right? We fill up each other love tank. When that love tank was on E, I said, man, I hate to do this, but I felt like I got to walk away from this circumstances. I can't put myself in that. Much as I love you, but I had a little bit of gas in the tank where I like, come on, I got you. But after so many episodes, sometimes you just, like what you say, everybody come with you, can't go with you. How it go?
That's right. Everybody come with you,
sure.
can't go with you.
Yeah. So yeah, bro, it's we still have to practice that today.
I think what we want to make sure we do with our young people is to teach them how to handle the very moment you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That when you do separate, you there's an adult way to try to have that conversation, and let me help you have this conversation with your friend. And if they feel like they still can't have it, then obviously you got to separate. I'm one of those parents who I always told my kids, you can question and challenge anything I tell you because I will always explain it to you. You know what I mean? I want you to be able to understand and articulate and us go back and forth. And so, but I had that very situation with my son. And the kid, I had to tell him, listen, I don't tell you stay away from nobody. This one kid, you have to stay away from him. Well, something like that. Why? I said, because this kid will get you killed.
But
this kid will get you killed. And this is why I'm putting my foot down and I'm not giving you no room for judgment when it comes to this. All right. In this moment, I'm putting my foot down, and that's what you got to do.
And I respect where you come from when you say you can come and you can challenge. But some parents go off of instincts, right? And they may not be able to articulate in the best of words. I just know you need to stay away from them.
Sometimes you need to listen. Hey, when you say, hey, stop, explain to me. Nah, you running into
well, you
the
know what?
street.
The parents that don't have that skill, you're right. They need to instill that rule. Sometimes you just need to listen.
Because
Hear and
just
obey.
like John, just like JG was saying, he was, we were all walking and all of a sudden you step off the curve in the road. I ain't got time to explain. Hey, stop.
Right.
You
There's
know
a car coming.
Like you ain't got time to explain.
Stop,
Well,
because
you
there's a
know,
car coming
like you
and
ain't
you're
got
about
time
to
for that.
get rolled over. Yeah.
And
That's not what
sometimes
we're talking about. But
I know, but
understand your
sometimes in life, you may not be
the
nobody's
situation we talking about is not hit by a car. Now, if I call you and say, come home right now.
Okay. All right, let's scratch off the curb. What I'm saying is some parents
acknowledged it.
No, I was saying that's the same thing.
I'm just saying my point was they may not be able to articulate, but they seen so many examples of I've seen this before, it's just a different person.
What I would say is, and there are people that can't articulate it, and that's okay. And all of us have something we can't articulate. So it don't make us different when people can't do that, right? Because all of us got something we can't articulate. But it's okay, but understand that if you can't articulate it as a parent and you don't work on finding a way to do it, then half of the learning that's going to happen is missing from that situation. So even though you saved them and they listened, the learning that they need to happen, some of that's missing because you can't articulate why they needed to be warned. Because they're going to get some of the learning just after it happened and the observation. But we got to find a way too, because even if you can't explain it in a moment, to sit and meditate on it and be like, let me try to explain this, because you got to walk them through the thought process somehow.
And that learning is important. You know why? Because you ain't going to be there all the time.
For
Right.
sure.
You ain't gonna be there all the
Right.
time. That's why you better, if you can't articulate it, part of the learning is you fixing yourself and you growing into a person who can teach this lesson.
Right.
Because if you don't, you better find somebody they can get it from. You bring in somebody else to articulate it for you. All right? Because if you don't,
Find a way.
like you said, part of that learning is not gonna be there,
and the thing is,
you
they
not
might
gonna
not
always
die,
be
but they're
there
gonna go through that situation again.
for sure.
I mean, the lesson.
It's
I mean,
gonna-
they until they
it's
get
gonna
it, you know what I'm
resurface.
saying? Yeah.
And to use a sports analogy, we at home practicing, talking about it. So when you're out in the real world, hopefully it'll kick in the second nature at some point.
It's the B2M crew chopping it up about reclaiming the village around role models and the type of people we want around our children.
And today's
I think
world,
in
influencers.
today's world, in regard to the
Influencers.
many
Social
wild
media
influences, but to a person, I think we agree that we have to teach our children that don't enslave themselves to thinking one model or one role model is their be-all, end-all. We want to first be those good models to them ourselves, then attach them to people and teach them to embrace the goodness in those individuals and learn from the lessons without judging them, because we all about reclaiming the village. Joaquin, you got something to take us out with?
Yes, sir. In the words of the great Frederick Douglass, it is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. Peace.
Raise them up.
And I won't stop until I'm winning. I'ma show them how true and independent get it. Whole game changed by the time I finish with it. We about to get this business handled in a minute. And I won't stop until I'm winning. They don't want me in the office 'cause